In this video, I want to go over 8 tips that I've learned from my many years running NBA 2K. Follow these tips and I can almost guarantee you that your next build will be patch proof. The first and arguably most important tip when it comes to finding success in the builder is going to be to take all of us YouTubers and our builds that we recommend with a grain of salt. There are going to be a wealth of best build ever videos scattered all across the YouTubes. Shoot, I'm gonna drop a couple in my damn self. But with the way in which the new badge system works this year, we have to be mindful of the builds we decide to make. Because yes, a build may look deadly or demon level on paper or in the builder, but if you can't maintain them badge levels, or worse, you can't even unlock the level of the badge, then it's probably gonna be a trash build. The next tip on this list is gonna be to make proper use of your resources. And I know, I just went on a whole rant and tangent about how you should take what you get from us content creators with a grain of salt, but honestly, there still do be some good information out there. 2K Toots and 2K Labs are two channels that first come to mind when I say that. In my opinion, builds are always going to be opinion based, but what's not an opinion is the badges or animation requirements, which we should all be taking into account when we're making our builds. And rather than having to flip back and forth between the builder and the animation screen, or worse, trying to memorize shit, just hit up YouTube or Reddit and all that information is already readily available for you. What's the best jump shot base? What base has the biggest green window? Or maybe which animation is the fastest? All that information that we're looking for in order to get a competitive edge is sprinkled all across the internet. YouTube's probably gonna be the most user-friendly place to find it, as you can just sit there and watch a video. But you'll definitely get some gems over on Twitter or X, whatever they're calling it nowadays, and definitely in that 2K subreddit. You'll just have to navigate all those posts asking, is this a viable build? If you know, you know. So basically what I'm saying is that we need to be taking all of this empirical data into account when we're making our builds, so we don't end up making a $100 mistake. That's one expensive ass mistake, you know? The next tip on this list, while it should be obvious, but you would be surprised how many people actually overlook this one. And that's to take your time while you're in the builder. And I know the game just came out recently, but we gotta remember, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I get it, we all wanna get out there on them virtual courts and ball out. But speed running through the builder is the quickest way to ensure that you're gonna be back in that builder working on a new build in no time flat. What we should be doing is taking our time inside of the builder, play around with it, pause. Try to make the build at a different position or mess around with the height and wingspan and the attributes to ensure it's perfect for you. It's still super early in the 2K24 season, so there is no real meta out there. And anyone who says they found the best build probably just found the best build that works for them right now. And truthfully, that's what you and I should be doing here, finding the best build that works for us and how we like to play the game. Hell, if you really want to get crazy with it, you can create a player with your my stats, animations, jump shots, and throwing him on the NBA team and just going into practice mode and get some runs in to see how you would like to build if it was fully maxed out. Because what 2K is doing with that game in the builder is useless. It doesn't help you figure out if your build's good or not. I think the test game is on Rookie. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. And if I am wrong, let me know down in the comment section. But I do think that that test game is on Rookie. And obviously you don't have your jump shots and your animations, so that's a big L. So if you really want to test out your build, this is the way to go about doing it. Now granted, this method can and will be tedious, but I mean, you really only have to do it once. If it can help you to not waste $100 on a build, then why not, right? Moving on. Now I know I said this before with a previous tip, but this one right here, hands down, might be the most important tip on this list. With the way the systems are set in place this year, if you only follow this one tip, it will almost guarantee you that you have a patch-proof build for the whole entirety of the year. And that's to know your own personal game and circumstances. What do I mean, you might be asking? What are your personal strengths and weaknesses out there on the court? Are you trash at positioning and grabbing boards? Then perhaps the center is not the best bet for you. Or maybe that means you're just gonna have to put more rebounding and strength onto your build. Let's say you're trash at dribbling. You never played point guard before and you just moved over from the big. Maybe you should rethink going with a 92 ball handle. While it looks nice and everything, if you don't know how to dribble and mix, you're just gonna be a liability out there. Especially this year with the way the badges work, I can't echo this enough. If you're not able to maintain or even unlock a certain level of a badge, you're just wasting attribute points getting it that high when you can be putting another attribute up either higher to ensure that you're a demon level at that skill or attribute, or dipping into a completely new attribute just to make yourself a little bit more well-rounded. And then we're also going to want to take our circumstances into account as well. So if you're playing on wireless or your latency is on some type of dial-up level, then a shooter is definitely not for you, because that suspect latency is going to screw you over every single time, I promise you. Rather, in that situation, you probably want to make an inside big to where there's not much timing that had to be had. You just grab boards and finish, or maybe even make a slasher if you're not a fan of the big. Take all of your circumstances into account. But moving on, the next tip on this list to help you to make a demon build is to know your teammate or who it is you're going to be running with for the most part. So if you mainly run with randoms, then you should probably know what time it is. You're going to need some type of defense in your build and some type of shooting. It's always ideal to help spread out the court just off rip in general, but definitely when you're running with randoms. Because I mean, the randoms are going to clog up the paint anyway, so being able to stretch the court is going to go a long way. And also, remember, if you're running with randoms, you more than likely will not be running any intricate offensive sets. Hell, even with a squad, the sets ain't even going to be crazy. If you're not a point guard, you'll find yourself most times than not in a wing or a corner. But if you got a squad of folks that you run with on the regular, then y'all should be coming together to try and form Voltron with every single one of y'all builds. Who's the lock? Who's running the show? Who's the point guard with the high pass accuracy, the bailout and the dimer badges? These are all things that only you can answer, really. Who are you running with? The next tip on the list is going to be to make yourself bigger. Pause. Especially this early in the NBA 2K24 season, if you want to make a build that's patch proof and that's going to take you all the way out until 2K25 drops, then the best practice is going to be to make your build bigger rather than smaller. At the end of the day, you can't teach size. Size is always going to have its advantages on the court. By making your player bigger, it will allow you to be able to guard multiple positions, and it's going to make finishing at the rim easier. And I mean, it's 2K. Everybody's a rim runner or a three hunter. So if you can't hit the three, especially with this suspect latency, then that means you're gonna be rim running. Easier on a 6'8" as opposed to a 6'4". That's all I'm saying. Next tip on the list, you know no list would be complete without this tip right here. And that's to make your player with some type of shooting. Don't you dare come out here with a wing player with no 25 3 ball, especially if you're running solos. I can tell you from right now, this second, before the game even starts, the paint's gonna be clogged. Don't set yourself up coming with no non-shooting build. That's just gonna add to an already clogged paint. And just having that flexibility to be able to stretch the floor is gonna go a long way, because now your man has to make hard closeouts on you, pump fake, and you can drive right around him for an easy finish at the rim. So even if you don't plan on shooting, or you can't shoot, or you're scared of shooting, whatever it is, don't think that just because you have shooting in your build means you have to shoot. No, it's gonna open up the court, it's gonna open up the game for you and everybody else around you. And I mean, you can afford to learn to shoot just to help out the team, you know? And if you need, I got a shooting tutorial on the channel already. Go watch that, link in the description, you know, shameless plug. But jumping back into the list, the next tip is going to be to just have fun. The game just dropped, there's no real metas out yet, so everyone's builds will be a bit suspect, and we paid mad money for the game and our builds. So at the end of the day, just go out there and have fun. Win, lose, or draw, it is what it is, you know? So don't be too hard on yourself if your first few builds is a my career only type of build. Just enjoy yourself, play my career, and try to make sure that the build is one that you will have fun running and can find success with, and you should be good. At the end of the day, it's a video game meant for us to enjoy. So if that means making your build based around a trash NBA player, or following a YouTube video, or even basing your player around your IRL playstyle, then do it if it means that you will enjoy playing the game. But I will throw this disclaimer out there. It may be harder to win or find success online playing with an off-meta build, but just keep practicing and you should be alright. Till we line up across from each other on them virtual courts, luck out. Peace!